I am going to discuss about the first part of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner by S.T. Coleridge. Um, the poem begins with, "It is an ancient mariner, and he stoppeth one of three by thy long grey beard and glittering eye. Now wherefore stoppest thou me? The bridegroom's doors are open wide, and I am next of kin. The guests are met, the feast is set, mayest hear the merry din. He holds him with his skinny hand. There was a ship, quoth he. Hold off, unhand me, grey-beard loon, eftsoons his hand droppeth he." So I'm going to give a brief summary of this section. Uh, there was an ancient mariner and he stops one of the three guests who are going to attend a marriage, and the marriage was set, if the feast was set, everything was ready. The guests which one of the guests which mariner stopped, he was next to the king, he was the relative of the king, and he holds him with his skinny hand, and he begins his um, story. There was a ship, and then immediately what the guest did, he said, "Hold off, unhand me, leave my hand, you grey beard loon," and therefore he drops it his hand. Next, he holds him with his glittering eye. Here, eyes has been personified. The wedding guest stood still and listens like a 3 years old child. So the wedding guest was mesmerized by his glittering eye, and he stopped there like a 3 years old child. The mariner hath his will, meaning that the mariner hath his will. He was able to describe about his story. The wedding guest sat at a stone, he cannot choose but hear, and thus spake on the ancient man, the bright eyed mariner. So, the wedding guest, he was just like a 3 years old child. He sat on a stone and he did not have any other option other than hearing to what the mariner is saying. The ship was cheered, the harbour cleared, merrily did we drop, below the kirk, below the hill, below the lighthouse top. So everything was okay. The ship was cheered, the harbour was clear to the harbour, or the ship was ready to sail, and everything was okay, fine. The sun came upon the left, out of the sea it came he. The sun was set, and he shone bright, and on the right went down into the sea, higher and higher every day, till over the mast at noon the wedding guest here beat his breast, for he heard a bassoon. So what happens that the mariner was describing about how the ship began to sail, and it was very fine when they begin the journey. Okay, but suddenly there was an interruption from the part of the wedding guest, as he can hear the wedding bassoon is an instrument which is played at the wedding. So the bride had paced into the hall. The bride had arrived into the hall, red as a rose is she. Nodding their heads before her goes the merry minstrelsy. The wedding guest, he beat his breast, yet he cannot choose but hear. So he beats his breast and say, "The wedding guests, I need to go there," but he cannot do anything. He just have to hear whatever the mariner says. And thus spake on the ancient man, the bright-eyed mariner. Now listen, the bright-eyed mariner has been repeated. So therefore it symbolizes that his eyes were so much mesmerizing that it made the guest stop and listen to whatever he is saying. And now the storm blast came, and he was tyrannous and strong. He stuck with his overtaking wings and chased us south along. So now a blast came, a storm blast came, and the weather suddenly went topsy turvy, with sloping masts and dripping prow, as who pursued with yell and blow, still treads the shadow of his foe, and forward bends his head. The ship drove loud and loud roared the blast, and southward we fled. So they fled towards the southward as the wind was not favorable. The climate was not favorable to them. And now there came both mist and snow. So the weather was so bad that mist, snow, everything was there. And it grew wondrous cold. And ice, mast high, came floating by as green as emerald. So it was a very bleak situation, bleak, very unwanted situation where it was so cold, the wind was so cold, ice was there, snow was there, mist was there, and no one else was there, only the ship and the snow and the unfavorable wind. So there was no escape for them. And through the drifts, the snowy cliffs did send a dismal sheen, nor shapes of men nor beasts weakened. The ice was all between. So there was all ice, nothing else, no one. The ice was here, the ice was there, the ice was all around. It cracked and growled and rolled and howled like noises in a zone. So there was all ice. Everything was icy. At length, at length did cross an albatross. Through the fog it came, as if it had been a Christian soul. We hailed it in God's name. So there, out of nowhere, an albatross came. So they believed that it is an angel, a Christian soul, and they hailed it in God's name. It ate the food it never had eat, and round and flew. So it ate the food, and it was rounding. It flew round and round. The ice did split with a thunder fit. The helmsman steered us through. So as soon as the albatross came, the wind was clear, the snow was clear, and the helmsman they steered through the sea. And a good south wind sprung up behind. Wind was good suddenly, and the albatross did follow, and every day for food or play came to the mariner's hollow. So the albatross, it came to play, it came to eat in um, it came to the mariner's hollow. In Mr. Cloud or Master Shroud, it purged the Vesper's night, whilst all the night through fog smoke white glimmered the white moonshine. God save thee, ancient mariner, from fiends that plague thee thus. Why lookest thou so? With my crossbow I shot the albatross. So here basically um, the ancient mariner he killed the albatross in a wanton mood. Okay, although it saved their life, the lives of the mariners, and here the mariner is doing a confession that yes, I did this, although it made the wind and the snow favorable, but still I killed it. So this was the confession in the very first part made by the mariner, that how they sailed the ship, how the weather was unfavorable, and then how it killed the albatross. So that is for today. That is for this video. The part 1 is all about this. If you like my video, do like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.